Hey, it's me, Nalthazar, and welcome to another Magic Puzzle Quest video. In today's video, I'm going to be taking an early look at the new Black Planeswalker, Liliana of the Dark Realms. So, let's get into it. I want to start this off by giving a big thank you to Webcore for sending me this Planeswalker and allowing me to put out this review a little bit early to give you guys a sneak peek look at this really cool new Planeswalker. Thank you. Liliana of the Dark Realms is the most interesting of the Duskmourn Planeswalkers that are coming to Puzzle Quest, at least to me. This Planeswalker is a powerhouse of a monocolor walker. She's got a +4/3/2/1 split on her mana bonuses, which is going to pair very nicely with cards like Sunken Citadel. And her kit strongly revolves around almost all things black magically in Puzzle Quest. So graveyard, destruction, and destruction. So the first ability is going to cost you 6 loyalty. You're going to destroy the top 6 cards of your library, and if a creature is destroyed that way, you're going to convert 5 gems to black. Second ability is going to give a creature -X/-X permanently, and that's going to be equal to half of the number of black gems on the board, and then if you wind up killing that creature, you're going to return it to the battlefield under your control. This serves as a great way of sniping and stealing your opponent's stuff, especially if they get something really pesky on the board like Rakdos. The third ability, Shadow Triumph, is going to permanently increase your black mana bonus by 4, and then if your black mana bonus is 12 or more, then you're going to destroy all opposing cards. If that all wasn't enough, she's got a very nifty passive, which makes it so that at the beginning of your turn, if there are 2 or more creatures in your graveyard, you're going to gain mana equal to the number of black gems on the board. Between the passive, the first, and the third, this Planeswalker generates mana like crazy. She gets a lot of mana. This enables her to play a lot of really cool cards. The first ability and the passive pair very nicely with each other because the first ability is just going to throw things from your deck into your graveyard, and you'll eventually get 2 creatures in your graveyard, assuming you're running creatures, which will then turn into just a massive passive mana generation from the, well, passive ability. That's too many massives and passives in the same sentence. Whatever, we're keeping that. Liliana is massive. Yeah, I said that. When I first saw Liliana of the Dark Realms kit, it really jumped out to me as a potentially broken Planeswalker. That third ability in particular made me go, wait, what? However, the more that I've played with Liliana of the Dark Realms, the more that I've seen that she has not only a tremendous amount of power in her kit, but she also has limits. And so as a result, I think she's a very balanced Planeswalker. The first ability is definitely a top ability for just throwing things into your graveyard and gaining mana. It's a fantastic ability. The second ability at only 9 loyalty is also a fantastic ability. The third ability is the one that I thought was actually going to be broken, but is instead, I feel like, a little bit more niche of an ability given how good the first and second abilities are. The third ability is going to increase your black mana bonus permanently. However, you need to use that ability multiple times in order to get that black mana bonus to 12. For that matter, you need to do it twice, at least, to get that black mana bonus of 12, assuming you're not being aided by other cards that increase your mana bonus. That means that in order to really get the maximum amount of value out of those 15 loyalty pushes, you need to have 30 total loyalty in order to make them worthwhile. Yes, I know that this is increasing your black mana bonus, but between your first ability and the passive, you're generating so much mana with this Planeswalker that you're honestly going to be filling your hand with mana in no time without increasing the mana bonus with the bottom. Meaning that in most of my Liliana of the Dark Realms decks, I've found that the best way to play her is actually just to spam her first, use her second when you need it, and then just freely play everything with all the crazy amounts of mana you're getting from the combination of her first and her passive. I'll be showcasing a lot of different decks in this video. This video will be a little bit longer as a result. There are a lot of decks that I've found are really fun and really interesting with this Planeswalker. The first of those decks is one of my favorite deck archetypes that I'm playing right now, and it centers around the use of the Master of Keys and Overlord of the Baelmark. Basically, we're going to be throwing a whole bunch of things in the graveyard, and then we're going to be trying to bring those things back with things like Rite of the Moth and Funeral Rooms flipped side over here. The second deck is a deck that I think you will be very familiar with if you've been following mine or other creators' channels, and that's going to be a Back in Town deck. This is a phenomenal Planeswalker for all things graveyard shenanigans, and Back in Town is kind of at that premiere for graveyard shenanigans. So the way that I'm going to be running it is going to be with Cruel Claw, Akul, and the Gitrog, as this is going to be a great way to generate a bunch of cards and do some silly things. The third deck I'm going to be showcasing is going to be one centered around increasing your black mana bonus to really take advantage of that third ability. It's going to be using Valgavoth, which is going to be increasing your black mana bonus a ton, Sunken Citadel, which increases your black mana bonus by 2, and Mox Jet, which will also increase your black mana bonus by 2. It's important to note that if you're going to be adding things that will increase your black mana bonus, the only things that will actually have an effect in terms of tipping the scales are going to be things that are going to increase the black mana bonus by multiples of 4. So something like running both of Mox Jet and Sunken Citadel, as they both increase by 2, is going to count as a multiple of 4. Valgavoth is going to be able to trigger its ability up to 4 times per turn, which is going to increase the black mana bonus by 1, meaning that Valgavoth can increase by 4 or even 8, depending on how you've set up your deck. So once again, multiples of 4. The fourth and final deck that I'm going to be showcasing is a Pauper deck. I'll call it Pauper Plus because I think I put one rare in it. I wanted to see how the Planeswalker would work if I wasn't running a whole bunch of Mythics and Masterpieces, and to see if her level of power was able to stand up even without them. With that said, I know that the rare that I'm running in this deck is quite powerful. It's going to make the opponent lose a lot of life, but as Liliana doesn't actually have a way of killing anything on her own, she does need you to have some powerful cards to really maximize her potential. With that, let's jump right into the gameplay and see how this Walker plays. Let's see what we've got going in this first match. A Leyline of the Guild Pact and Phenomenon Investigators. Okay, this is going to be pretty solid. We definitely want to get the Leyline down first. That's going to enable us to get a little bit more loyalty, a little bit more frequently, and then probably the Phenomenon Investigators, as those are going to, well, draw us more cards, and we like more cards. Here I'm definitely going to be taking the 5-match first. Just, I don't want the first ability to wind up messing with my conversion and making it so that I'm not getting all the goodies. So there we get to see the first use of her first ability, and you'll see that it actually does quite often, especially if you're running 3 creatures, trigger that gem conversion, which just gets you so much good stuff. So I'm going to keep matching. We're going to get an Overlord of the Baelmerk. This is going to start fetching me cards every single turn, and then on top of that, it's going to be converting gems to black. So here I get to pick out Master of Keys and another Overlord, so let's go ahead and take those. The Master of Keys doubling up on power every time it comes out makes it a tremendously powerful card. So let's see how my opponent responds to this. I'm in a pretty strong board state here, and so they're really going to need to do something good in order to take me out. Taking control of the Master of Keys is a fun little thing that you can do, but it's really not enough, especially since I'm probably going to be fetching more Masters of Keys. Yep, there we go. All right, so let's see. What does my opponent have out? My opponent has a land desert. I don't think this destroys lands, right? It destroys artifacts, enchantments, and creatures. Okay, I thought so. So then here, I actually don't need to use any of my abilities. So I'm actually just going to use my third to start boosting my mana bonus, because I'm going to be getting my first back guaranteed. You'll see that I have a massive black mana bonus because I'm going to be taking this here match down below. So I'm going to be getting a whole bunch of loyalty and mana this turn as it is. So I really don't need to, sandbag my loyalty for anything. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to choose option B here. I pretty much always do. I get a Funeral Room. That's honestly perfect. So now I just need to unlock this, and then that will probably end the game. So this next turn will be game over unless my opponent destroys the Funeral Room or kills my Master of Keys. Either of those two outcomes could potentially save them. They do not do either of them. Does my Funeral Room get popped, though? It did. All right, so my conversion actually killed my Funeral Room. That's unfortunate, but it's okay. That does happen. So here, let's see. Should I throw more things in the graveyard, or should I just keep charging up the laser? You know, I want to use my first. I want to try and get my spree up here for Coalition victory. Let's see if I can't get that to spree 5. Probably not, but that's okay. We'll still get it off here because our mana bonus is just absolutely cracked, and then we'll get rid of my opponent's hand. So that'll be nice. So Overlord's going to come out. It's going to get me another enchantment. The Coalition Victory is going to get rid of my opponent's hand. The Slime is really doing nothing, but that's honestly fine. And that 15 mana support should be a Funeral Room. Ooh, I really hope it is. That would be ideal. All right, that's going to make this next turn really fun. So let's make sure. So here you're seeing once again the absolute power of Liliana's passive coming through and just giving me ridiculous amounts of free stuff. I am going to want to cast that Funeral Room. I want to flip it to Awakening Hall. I'm going to use my first ability to destroy more cards from my library, just sort of chalk that graveyard up a little bit. I got 43 things in the graveyard. 8 of them are creatures with a few different Master of Keys, so this is going to be a really sweet turn. I'm going to throw away everything from my hand because I want there to be as much room for free Phenomenon Investigator cards as possible. And then let's just go to town, shall we? So in terms of matches, do I have a 5 match that I can make here? That would be pretty funny if we could make this double up. It doesn't look like it. So let's just take a match and see how this goes. So the Investigators are going to come down. We get a Convert to Slime. That's fine. We're going to get a Master of Keys. That's going to come down and then double itself. We're going to get a Baelmark. This is going to fetch us another enchantment. And then here's where the real goodies are going to come into being. So we're going to get some free cards. We're going to get our Master of Keys boosting up quite a bit here. Let's just keep on drawing. Let's keep on drawing. Oh, we got another Master of Keys in the hand. That's nice. That's going to represent another power doubling over there. So that's going to bring us up to 554. We're going to get 2 more cards. Oh yeah, let's take another Master of Keys. Let's bring it into the thousands. And then let's have the Investigators draw us another card. Maybe something else super sweet. No, that's fine. This is lethal. This is very much lethal. And that's the power of the first deck. Really, really fun. It's more combo-centric, but quite a lot of power is in there. I think that my maximum so far with that deck is like 11 or 12,000 with the Master of Keys. So it gets pretty high. Let's go ahead and take a look at the next deck. Alrighty, for this next match, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, we're going to be doing the Back in Town deck. We've actually got Back in Town in the starting hand, along with Rush of Dread and Gitrog. Okay, that's pretty solid. You know, Rush of Dread could be good here, especially against Grist. Grist is kind of a meanie pants, so we'll have to see how this goes. Let's see, I don't want to destroy black gems. That might make it so that I don't get black matches, although I don't entirely mind the idea of my opponent not getting black matches. So here, Operation 1 is getting rid of my opponent's starting hand, just so that there aren't as many bad things coming at me. Number 2 is probably going to be to get Demolition Field down, because I am going to want all of that extra mana. Let's see, do I have any particularly great matches here, though? I don't have any super great ones. So I'm going to actually just take the green one to make it so that Grist isn't taking the green one. That's the whole point of that one. I've got another Back in Town. Okay. Let's see. We don't really need those Back in Towns there, so that's a little bit unfortunate, but that's okay. We can deal with that kind of stuff. As for the swap here, I think I'm actually just going to go ahead and take the Loyalty swap. I want to get to my first ability, as that is going to be the most likely thing to get me some mana, right? Because I need to get the 2 critters in my graveyard, which I now have, and then I also was hoping that I'd get some conversion to get a better swap this turn. Both of those things happened, and so that's going to work out really nicely for me. The only downside is that it does mean that my opponent is going to be getting a black match here as well, and there aren't too many black gems on the board, so it's kind of a middling situation as opposed to like a great situation. But it's not terrible. I've actually got Loyalty here into a double match, so this is going to get me to another activation of my first, which I really like. My opponent's going to be destroying all gems of my color because they drew a ley line, because of course they did. And then they've got a Rakdos because, once again, of course they do. There are no black gems on the board. That's a very unique situation, so that's going to be getting me a whole lot of nothing. Let's see. Well, if my opponent's going to be playing hardball like that, do I even want to use my first? It's only going to convert 5 gems, and that's really probably not going to be getting me a match here. So let's see. I think, what is the right play? The right play might be to take this red and hope that I get a Cascade. I don't get a Cascade. Okay, let's see what my opponent's doing. They get a Cryptex down, that's fine. All right, so here, now I will, come on. Now I'll use my first. Let's hope I get some conversion, get that spree going, which I do, perfect. Unfortunately, my opponent is going to use their first probably this coming turn, so they're probably going to be getting a Rakdos down, is my guess. I can wait one more turn, although if I don't do that, my opponent's probably not using their first. Grist is such a funky walker to play against. So let's Rush of Dread here. It's going to kill Rakdos. I'm expecting that they're going to get the Rakdos right back here with the first. Oh no, they're playing the Eldrazi. Interesting. Okay, well I'm going to take their Rakdos then, because yeah, I want the Rakdos, please. So let's do Breach into Cruel Claw. Actually, Breach into Gitrog. So here is where I'm running into what I think is the greatest problem that Liliana has. And that is she struggles with card generation. She gets so much mana. However, even though she gets all that crazy amount of mana, she does find it to be difficult to get cards going sometimes. And that can make it so that you can stall out at times. And so I think that's more a disadvantage that black has as a color, just because black doesn't have as great of fetch opportunities as some of the other colors do right now. But still, that doesn't mean that Liliana's not a good planeswalker. It's just, this is, I think, her biggest, you're getting to see her most glaring weakness right here. And I think that's an important thing to see. So I'm going to keep taking Akuls here, because I'm going to have Gitrog destroy the Akuls. And then I'm actually going to take another Rakdos here as well. I've got a Rite of the Moth. Do I want to use this now? Not really, actually. Although I wouldn't mind the lifelink. So sure, I'll take a Gitrog, and I'm not going to take any of the others. It gives finality to the creature, meaning that when they die, they're exiled. And I really don't want to exile all of these Akuls. I just want to destroy them, get the cards and the mana. We're absolutely going to be destroying that, as it's just going to keep on drawing, because Gitrog draws based on the number of power. And then that's going to make a whole bunch of black gems. So that's going to be really good for me. Having all those black gems down means I'm going to be getting a whole bunch of mana. It's suboptimal that my opponent gets a 5-match out of it, but that's okay. I've got Back in Town that's going to be happening this turn, and I'm expecting that to be game-ending here. So let's see. We've got how many critters in my graveyard? 9. That should be enough. You know what? Let's save some of them. Let's bring that on up. So I'm going to take the 5-match first. We're going to get Cruel Claw. We're going to get Gitrog. And then here I'm going to go ahead and use my first. Yep, that threw another critter in my graveyard. Perfect. How many do we have now? 10? 10. Excellent. Okay. And then this is going to be game over. So I am going to be getting rid of the Rakdos here. I don't actually have any mana that I can gain this turn, which is kind of surprising. It means that the Rush of Dread's not going to happen, but honestly, that's okay. So let's just take our match that we have. Oh, we do get some mana. Cool. We like Cascades. And then we're going to get to see a pretty solid Back in Town. So there's 2. We're going to have Akul come in. That's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and the win. So that's easily enough to get the KO. And as you can see, Back in Town just sort of ends games, even against a nasty Planeswalker with actually a very solid deck. Match number 3 is going to be black mana bonus shenanigans. So this is going to be the Valgavoth deck, and I actually get Valgavoth in my starting hand. That is fantastic. No, I don't just fish for these as I go for a lot of my videos. I try to make them as organic as possible. So I do usually choose the best footage if I play many, many, many games while I am recording. But I've been playing a lot of this Planeswalker to try and collect footage over the past week. Not really to collect footage, to test it. Testing it's a better way of putting it. I'm doing a sitting right now to collect the footage. But here, let's go ahead and see how this goes. So every time now that I do damage to my opponent, my black mana bonus is going to go up. So I want to have as many different sources dealing that damage as I can. My black mana bonus right now is at +5, and so here, honestly, the best thing for me to do is going to be for me to try and get more loyalty to be able to ultimately use my first to convert more gems. So by converting more gems, it's going to get me some more loyalty, and then we can try and get into as much of a little feedback loop there as we can. If my opponent plays some really nasty stuff, that's okay. We'll absolutely take that. Let's see, what's our mana bonus looking at now? It's at +6. Okay. So this will just continue to get better the more cards that I get down. So I actually don't need the Rush of Dread here, probably. Let's just keep on going with what I have. Let's see. Do I want to just get to my third? I think I do. How close am I to my third? All right, it's only 15 loyalty to get there, so we're pretty close to that third ability. The Breach the Multiverse, I won't quite get. Although I don't actually have anything in my graveyard yet. So I could use my first just to throw things in the graveyard. Let's have fun. I'm going to have more fun doing it this way. This is all about fun. So let's see. We're going to have the Jet. We're going to work on getting toward that Breach the Multiverse. I'll get it next turn. That's fine. We're going to do 3 points of damage here between Valgavoth and our Bats. And then that's going to increase our black mana bonus even more, which is really, really good. I could, as you imagine, use some more conversion. So if I draw into that, that would be sweet. I've got my Mox. That is not an example of conversion, which is fine. Let's see. For here, we're absolutely going to be doing Breach the Multiverse. Okay. So, we're going to get loyalty into Breach the Multiverse. This is excellent. So we're going to Breach the Multiverse. I'm actually going to take Kaya here. Yeah, I'm going to take Kaya for my own. Kaya gives me another source of damage because I need 4 sources of damage to get the most out of Valgavoth. And so now I should just be able to wipe my opponent's board every single turn. So I should be at an amount of black mana bonus for that to happen. So let's check it out. I've got a Cryptex there. I'm going to use the +1 with Kaya. That's going to do some more damage. That's going to increase my black mana bonus by 1. I'm at +10 now, meaning that if I activate my third, that's going to go up to +14. So let's go ahead and do that. That's going to wipe the board. My opponent's going to have nothing. And then that's going to increase my black mana bonus to +14. Let's see if I can get a Cryptex down here. I think I can. I think I can. Yeah, let's get Cryptex down here with the black match. That should get Cryptex. Oh no, it's colored cards. Okay, well, yeah, it's fine. Let's see, do I actually want the Rakdos here? No, I don't. I don't actually want Rakdos because I want to keep playing with the cards I have on the battlefield. Let's do it this way. There's a 5 match for white, although I imagine that Koth's going to use their first ability. Let's see. The amount of lockdown that you can achieve with this is pretty sweet. So right now I've got my opponent totally locked down. There's really nothing they can do, which is, well, as I mentioned, very sweet. We're going to go ahead and use my first ability here with Kaya again. And then that should bring me about to lethal. Yep, I'm at +15 now for my black mana bonus. So let's see. What big card do we want to play here? Let's just do the Rite of the Moth, shall we? Yeah. Look at this. Oh, man. Getting that much loyal. Oh, my gosh. Look at all that mana. That's crazy. You get so much mana with this Planeswalker. All right, and we got Alkazat's. Alkazat's drawing this cards is pretty sweet as well. We've got to Breach the Multiverse to just get even more goodies. So I'll take another Kaya for me and then nothing from my opponent, just because I've got enough here. And then that's absolutely going to be thwapping my opponent. My opponent's gone. So in terms of the highest that I've seen that black mana bonus get for me, it's been over 20. And so I've just had it fueling my cards like crazy, which is really, really funny when it happens. You get some really, really nasty things going. So really, really powerful ability, especially if you build around it. But you really do need to build around that ability to get the most out of it. So let's go into the final match, which is going to be the Pauper Plus deck. I don't super love the Planeswalker my opponent is playing for this Pauper Plus deck. Typically for Pauper Plus, it's a little bit more matchup based. Obviously, I think this is going to go fine. This Planeswalker performs very well into pretty much all opponents. However, having an opponent that runs Exile and stuff like that isn't always my favorite. Also, this particular Ashiok doesn't usually run a lot of powerful creatures, so it doesn't give me as many goodies to steal. And I want to steal all the goodies. Speaking of stealing things, that was an absolutely ridiculous little cascade there, so thank you, game. And then they are running the Caustic Bronco. Okay. Hello, Caustic Bronco. You draw a card. I like that. I want that. Give that to me, please. So here we're going to see Liliana's second ability, And there are clearly more than 4 black gems on the board. So it needs to be double the creature's power in order to be able to steal it. And so I'm going to get that Caustic Bronco for free there. Love that. So let's see. What are we going to do match-wise here? I think I'm just going to go ahead and take the black match on the bottom. I don't want my opponent to have a black match. And then I don't have anything in my graveyard yet to defossilize. Well, how about I fix that? Let's have something in the graveyard to defossilize. Did I get my cool card? Not really. The Osseous Stick Twister is a ridiculously good card, so I'm good with getting that. And then getting 2 of them out, if I can get 2 of them out, will actually be really nice, because having 2 of them out will actually make it so that I reach the required saddle for this, right? This is saddle 4? Yeah. So I need 4 power of creatures to be out on the battlefield. As for the swap here, let's just go ahead and take this one right here. We're going to defossilize. That is going to potentially explore and boost me anyways. Yeah, it does. Okay. So then this is going to draw me a card. My opponent's going to take damage. They're going to be losing a card every turn. By the way, this little like common stick thing is crazy good. If you haven't tried it out yet, crazy good. Okay. Let's go ahead and take that 5 match. Is that going to enable us to steal my opponent's critter again? No, it's not. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and Ray of Ruin that thing. Let's get rid of that. We don't want the opponent to have that thing. And then I'm actually just going to save my loyalty. I could use it right now, but let's see. How many creatures are in my graveyard? 0. Well, I guess it would be nice to have more creatures in my graveyard, but I'm pretty close to 9, aren't I? I am. Okay, let's save it this turn. Let's see if my opponent plays something particularly nasty next turn that I can just steal from them. This is another really nice thing about this Liliana, is that the better your opponent, in a way, the better she gets, especially if you don't have super great cards, because then you just start stealing them. And then, well, you know, crazy things are going to happen when you're stealing your opponent's stuff. So, all around goodness. Killer Mask, yeah, I'm really not worried about that. I could Ray of Ruin to get rid of my opponent's 2/2, but that honestly feels like a little bit of a waste of using that particular card. So let's go ahead, see if I can't throw some more critters in my graveyard. I'd like to be getting the free mana every turn. I'd really like a defossilize now. Okay, so let's get the Whipcracker down, let's get the Dig Site down, and I've got a Ray of Ruin if I want. So let's go ahead and let's start here. We're gonna take that swap over there. Let's see, can we get the Manifest Dread thing? Nah. All right, we're gonna get the Dig Site. Okay, we're looking pretty good. There's a defossilize. Excellent. That's exactly what I wanted here. All right, so then now I should be getting a bunch of mana thanks to Liliana's abilities here. So let's have the passive give full mana to defossilize. Return the first creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Did it get exiled? No. All right, maybe there's something preventing me from using a spell. That might be it. Or is the game just being funky? Maybe the game's just being funky. Is this exile, not graveyard? No, it is graveyard. Well, we'll see. I would very much like to be able to play defossilize here. Game is saying no. Maybe it's because I don't have room on the battlefield, and so that's just a bug with defossilize. I haven't encountered that bug, if that is a bug, with defossilize before. So let's see what happens. My opponent is boosting my creature. That's not what you wanted to do there, Ashiok. Let's see. Here, I'm in a pretty commanding position. So I could keep using my third, but why do that? I could pump with my pump with my third, my black mana bonus, but there's really no point because, yeah, I might as well just save my loyalty. See if my opponent plays anything else good, right? I could actually just use my first. Nah, whatever. Let's go ahead. We're gonna play a Dig Site. We're gonna play the Stick Witch, and then I've got my opponent pretty locked down right here. So black has some really incredible commons and uncommons. Honestly, you can get some really good control with this. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and say that my opponent has Killer's Mask. Sure, I'll go ahead and get rid of that because why not? I'll use my third ability since I'm winning here anyways to laugh at my mana bonus going on up. And then, yeah, okay. Let's take our swap. We're going to get a Dig Site. We're going to get Mirage Mesa. We're going to get the Whipcracker, which is going to get rid of my opponent's support. and then we're going to end the game. So we ended full life. Really, really easy match. Really solid control, and I didn't even wind up needing my power creature because I was able to steal a pretty powerful creature from my opponent, which is one of the benefits of this Liliana's kit. So that's all the gameplay that I have for this particular video. That's 4 different decks. I hope you enjoyed those. Let's get into the conclusion. In conclusion, I think Liliana of the Dark Realms is a tremendously powerful planeswalker. My early guess is that it's somewhere between the A and the S tier for me personally. I think that Liliana of the Veil is in a better place in the game right now in Standard. I think that she'll probably occupy that spot for a little while. However, I do think that Liliana of the Dark Realms potentially has a higher ceiling for power. So that means that as more cards come out, it may be that Liliana of the Dark Realms takes over and becomes the ultimate mono-black planeswalker in the game. What she'll need in order for that to happen is going to be a little bit more consistency on card draws or different ways of pulling things back from the graveyard. We do have a lot of ways of pulling things back from the graveyard, which definitely enables her, but I just feel like she's missing 1 or 2 core pieces to really be like the top of top tier planeswalkers. I think she's incredible. I think she's amazing. And especially since when she comes to the vault for crystals, she's only going to cost like 295 crystals. I think that everyone who has the crystals to pick her up should pick her up. She's a fantastic planeswalker. If you're a person who buys things, she's definitely worth the purchase. She's a very good walker. Do you need to have all the walkers in the game? No. It's getting progressively more difficult for me to recommend that people get planeswalkers because there are just so many of them, and you really don't need that many of them. But this planeswalker here is really fun. She's really powerful. She has really high highs, and her lows are things that will just get better as more cards come out that complement her kit. So I think that her ceiling is tremendously high. I had a lot of fun playing with this planeswalker. I hope you have a lot of fun playing with this planeswalker as well. If you're planning on picking her up too, let me know about it. Let me know what decks you're most excited to try. Let me know if you think that there's another deck that I missed. I've been playing a lot of decks with this planeswalker over the last week, and the 4 that I showcased in this video just settled on my favorites. So either they were my favorites because of how they interacted with her kit, or in the case of the Pauper Plus, because I like how it really showcased how powerful she is as a planeswalker, even if you don't have the strongest cards in the game. With that, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.